When you consider that a record company makes the bulk of the profit on a record, the artist does not, and you have a modern situation where the artist is being asked to not only bankroll the video and the income of the station that plays the video, he's also bankrolling the record company. This stinks.
And with the exception of me holding a guitar, it has nothing to do with my music. So while I'm kind of happy that I got this success and more engagement and all that, and wider reach, it kind of upset me a little bit because the thing that I really want people to check out is my art. I don't really want to have to brand or sell myself. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable.
No one gets paid for a stream unless it runs for at least 30 seconds. Artists and producers and engineers are looking at the data and they see, oh, okay, a shorter song seems to indicate that people will skip less. There's a greater chance of us getting to that 30 seconds with shorter songs. And with a shorter song, we can have more shorter songs after that on a playlist so that the 30-second mark comes up much more quickly. Now, let's think about this if you're a prog rock band. You are going to get paid exactly the same amount for a 10-minute rock and roll epic than somebody who writes a song that's 2 minutes long. So you might think, as an artist, why bother writing a song that long?
My name's Evan Lundgren. I release music under the name Lunder. First instrument I learned, I think, was the cello in elementary school and a little bit of the saxophone, but I didn't really care a lot, obviously, just kind of forced upon me from school and whatnot. I took a big love for the guitar in the end of 5th grade and actually was motivated to learn myself instead of being pushed by my parents or the school or something. I've probably started writing my first intentional songs somewhere in high school. I was recording independently myself and just releasing my own music on SoundCloud and partially on Spotify throughout college. My old friends who I used to play music with in a band called Surfliner started a record company, and that's actually helped me a lot since I've signed for them. It's made the process of kind of getting my music out there a lot easier because they obviously take up a lot of the responsibilities that I would usually have to do. They do things like submit my music to particular playlists that have a lot of people listening to it and a large audience and a good amount of influence over the indie rock community somewhat.
You have to get somewhere between 200,000 and 300,000 streams to make minimum wage now on Spotify, which is kind of crazy. That's a lot of plays, and if people were making that kind of record sales, say before the streaming revolution happened, they would be rich, and they wouldn't even need to tour or sell merchandise.
Trying to project a bird is a bird is a bird.
My name is Mason Hutchinson. I'm a singer-songwriter. I live in Montana, Missoula specifically. I make music under the name Puppy Love here in my bedroom. Some people might characterize my music as indie folk, maybe. It's got a DIY feel to it. And been making music for about 4 years or so, but enjoying and playing music for quite a bit longer. So I think there's a lot of really brilliant artists out there, but I think because of the availability of new music and the saturation of music that we have right now, just due to people anyone being able to get even an iPhone and getting GarageBand with an iRig, you can make an album, put it out. I think with that availability comes almost too much to sift through to make a cohesive genre like indie rock. Like, I think indie rock might mean different things for different people, just depending on what they like and what the algorithm gives them based on what they like. Not just in music, but in a lot of art forms recently, we've had this shift to where it's kind of genreless, and you listen to something from the 2000s onward, you can't really guess what year it came out anymore. I think before you release a song, you can pitch it to Spotify, and their community will choose which songs they believe basically will turn a profit on their playlist, which will get the most plays. I think as far as exposure goes, these playlists are pretty helpful, but then again, I think the value of music has gone down significantly too, because you don't have to go out and buy your favorite record anymore. You just look it up and you're paying like $7-9, whatever it is, a month. Very good for the listener, not so good for the artist, in my opinion.
Playing guitar is definitely somewhat therapeutic. Almost like meditate and just like forget about what's happening around me and like not worry about anything, essentially.
Yeah, it just felt like something that I had to do, and I always wanted to do it. That was like my pipe dream as a kid, and still is, was to be like a musician, so.
I'm Brian Saxon,
And I'm Brianna Conley.
and we run Earth Libraries. I would say what is now the label probably started in my childhood. My dad was a record collector, and he loved like making homemade compilations, and kind of took that experience, also playing in bands and helping friends in their bands. And in 2015, started working with a couple of friends who were doing another label, and I started learning about how running a label worked. And then from there, we kind of decided to start working with a broader set of music and bands and trying to do reissues. And in 2018, we officially started Earth Libraries. I feel like exposure to music and styles of music has become much easier. Music's just way more accessible. So you have this like melding of genres and styles, and music scenes are, I think, honestly, I would say much more interesting.
I feel like also the genres were so much more basic then. It was, just like rock and jazz. And now today, with the internet and whatnot, now there's like millions of genres, like genres that I don't even know what they stand for.
I think the internet has only made being a music fan better, I would say. I guess it's broader and you can cover a lot more scope, but it probably makes it harder to focus too. But I would say it's been a good thing. I think spreading culture and music, through technology is only accelerating like what will happen with music. And I think that accessibility is a good thing. Folks who are making music and trying to find their right niche, it helps, but then at the same time, there's a lot more people making music, and therefore there's kind of an element of like competition. I think social media can now act as the same effect of being on the stage, or being in your local press, or whatever kind of media was coming out. You have kind of that direct control to connect to your fans. And I think the most successful folks with social media kind of tell their story continuously and allow folks to become part of that. I think that part has actually been a good thing for folks who want to connect with with artists and artists who want to connect with fans. It does create like a whole new like requirement, I think, for artists to be vulnerable and social. You know, besides just that moment of being on the stage, it's almost the only way we connect with fans. Like almost all of our marketing goes to other publications who use social media to share our stuff. So if it's not directly on our social, it's on, you know, other publications or music outlets that are using their own social media to promote content.
The same thing with the social media. It can also be like oversaturated because there is so much content being, you know, vomited out there. So, but that's just the society we live in now, is that like, you know, attention span of like 2 minutes or something, or 30 seconds or whatever it is. So, I mean, it's definitely helps to at least get seen, and the more it gets seen, the more people will follow. But at the same time, there's so much content coming out there that, so, you know, it's a love-hate relationship.
What do you think it'll take to get us back to a point where music is music and experimental and people are willing to take chances?
Well, unless somebody realizes, and it has to be admitted and it has to be advertised and supported on this medium, that what you are seeing on MTV is merely advertising for product, which was designed as product, not as music, only as product.
When you listen to music, try to see if they're manipulating you into sticking around for that 30 seconds. Live in the music. Listen carefully. And hopefully, maybe, by giving yourself that extra bit of time with something that may be unfamiliar, that may be different, that your life will be made richer by the music. Beware what they want you to put into this container.